Giving up is the birth of regret. So today, I will be telling you all a very short story about Deshauna, a young dream chaser, and where it all began. In the summer of 2009, I was 19 years old, working a summer position at Target between my freshman and sophomore year at undergraduate school. I was working in the women's clothing department, and I noticed a lady staring at me from across the aisle. I figured she probably had a few screws loose, so I attempted to ignore her very intense stares. She eventually manages to make her way a little bit closer and closer to me where I was working until she eventually walks up to me and says hello. I say the famous Target quote, which is, "Hi, may I help you find something?" She then asks me, "Were you born in this country?" And I was immediately offended. And I said, "Yeah, I was born in this country." And then she says, "Do you have any kids?" I said, "No, I don't have any kids." She then asked me if I was married, and then I said, "No, ma'am, I am not married." She says, "How old are you?" I said, 19. "May I help you find something?" She then says, "You are the most beautiful girl I have seen." And I said, "Oh, thank you." I didn't work that much for my makeup, but I did the best I could, but thank you. And then she says, "I think you could be the next Miss USA." And I stare at her in pure disgust and said, "Pageants? You're telling me pageants, like Sandra Bullock, Miss Congeniality. Pageants? You think I should compete in pageants? I'm in the Army, okay? We don't do pageants in the Army." She then asked me to meet her at Starbucks the very next day before my next shift at Target. And she just wanted to do a little bit of explaining when it comes to what pageants is. And apparently I was a pretty open-minded 19-year-old because I actually agreed to meet her the very next day. The next day, she brought this foot-tall stack of pageant books and proceeds to convince me to enter into a state pageant 3 months later. For those who do not know, when it comes to Miss USA, you have to win your state first, okay? Just a few months after the Target conversation, we went to a dress shop, and it was probably only maybe my second time picking out a dress in my life. And I remember going through all these pretty gowns, feeling like I looked bony. I remember putting the dress on and coming out, and it was her. I don't like the way that I look. I don't like the way that I look right now at all. In high school and in middle school, but mostly in high school, I was heavily bullied. I had this one bully. She'd be the person that would do everything that I could to avoid, because in the hallways, she would bully me ruthlessly. She would say, skinny, skinny, orangutan, because my arms are long. She would just say, "Wow, look at how big your feet are." And I would honestly say she's probably one of the bigger contributors to why my self-esteem growing up was very low. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror as I'm like having an anxiety attack. Leslie, she walked up to me and rubbed my back, and she said, "When I saw you in Target, I saw something in you, and I see you glowing right now. I think you look amazing, and I think you could easily win this competition, and I think you can easily win Miss USA. You just have to believe in yourself, because if not you, then who?" So 3 months later, I compete in my first pageant, and I lose. I go back the second year, compete in the state pageant. I lose. Go back the third year, compete in the state pageant, and lose. Go back the fourth year, compete in the same pageant, and lose. I go back the fifth year, y'all. Compete in the state pageant and lose. But guess what? I go back the sixth year. Guess what happens? I lose. It was actually my dad. My dad that told me, "You have to stop this. It's not that I don't think that you can. I just don't know if they will give you this crown." I was prepared to quit. I called her on the phone and said, "You told me I could be the next Miss USA." And she says, "Deshauna, keep working, don't quit, keep going back." And I was gonna message her, telling her that I had a pageant in 2 months and that I wanted her to come, that I was competing for Miss DC USA. And when I went to her page on Facebook, there were just all these RIPs going up and down her timeline. And all the RIPs were from like 3 or 4 months prior, so I never got to say goodbye. And I didn't get to go to her funeral or anything like that. I didn't know any of her friends. When she passed away, no one told me because no one knew that we were friends. And I just felt really bad. With Leslie, she was battling leukemia for about 2 or 3 years. I would message her and send her the dates for my pageant and say, hey, you know, I would love for you to come out. And she'd say, I'm so sorry, I can't make it. I just always assumed she was gonna be okay. It was very tough competing that December. And I spent that entire 2 weeks remembering Leslie. I wanted to prove her right, that what she saw and who she saw on Target was actually someone that could be Miss USA. When the competition happened, I called my mom. She said, I'm watching you, Leslie's watching you, everybody's watching you. I had an immediate anxiety attack. I was crying, and I just said, I don't want to go out there. I'm terrified, because you could hear the people, thousands of people. It's the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, and it's huge. I remember just looking at myself in the mirror and saying, if not you, then who? I looked around and I just saw all these amazing women that are more than capable of being Miss USA. I just kept telling myself, if not you, then who? If not you, then who? And then it got down to myself and Miss Hawaii USA. We held hands and I said, thank you, God, for first runner-up. This has just been such an awesome experience because I just knew I was gonna lose against her.
District of Columbia!
And I was shocked. And I remember looking out into the stands and seeing so many people jumping for joy, including my friends, you know, my family members that came. I wish it could have been Leslie sitting in the stand. But I could feel that in my spirit. I could feel something saying, I told you so. And I think it was her saying to me, like shining down from the heavens, see, I told you, you could be the next Miss USA. Life wouldn't have been the same, and I'm thankful that I was working in women's department and that she decided to come to Target that day, because I just don't think I would have known how capable I am if it had not been for her. I appreciated that she was able to be that for me. I continue to carry that quote, if not me, then who, through life. At times, our purpose drops in our laps as if the heavens threw it by accident. I ask only one thing of you all today after you leave this building. Out this door, you will receive 100 doors shut, slam in your face. You will have 100 moments that will be filled with someone telling you no, or telling you, thank you for your application, but we regret to inform you that we've chosen a different candidate for this job. You will sit in 100 different interviews and you will not get the job. The reality of life is that we will all hear more no's than we hear yeses. And we will fail a lot, and I mean a whole lot. But what I ask of you today is to not take no for an answer. You can ask anyone, friend, family, anybody. I love a good no. Please tell me no. Telling me no is like adding fuel to a fire that is now set ablaze because of your single no. I love additional reasons to work harder. Please give me a reason. So today I challenge you to fight, to work, to not stop here, to believe so heavily in your aspirations that you too will not fear the word no, but instead you will choose to welcome it.